Day by day!
Day by day!
We get stronger and stronger!
We get stronger and stronger!
Till we can't be beat!
Till we can't be beat!
Till we won't be beat!
Till we won't be beat!
We know the road!
We know the road!
It's gonna be tough!
It's gonna be tough!
So when we win! It won't be by luck!
It won't be by luck!
Amen, guys! Let's go! 1, 2, 3, Cougars!
As we welcome you back, your TV's coverage of the Chatham-Kent Cougars Bantam action this afternoon from the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex in the Brantford Bisons. The competition, Bisons electing to get the football, and they will have amazing starting field position. Look at this run back off the kickoff to the 35-yard line of the Cougars, right off the hop to kick off this football game. A nice run back. That's an understatement for Brantford here. James Clark.
Hi, Mike, it's nice to join you here on a great sunny Sunday afternoon. Yeah, the Bisons got off to a great kickoff here, pinned the Cougars deep at their own 35-yard line to start. So probably not the start Coach Stewart was looking for, but let's see how their defense steps up and reacts to it. They were on a bye week, so they should be healthy and ready to roll. And
so we'll see how they respond here. Good field position for the Brantford Bisons in this Bantam football game here. A beautiful Sunday in Chatham-Kent. 1st and 10 for Brantford from the Chatham-Kent 35 once again. And they will keep it up the middle on the ground off the maybe fake pass. But a nice run right up the gut on 1st and 10. This
looks
one,
like it's Josh Lightfoot pounding right up the middle for about 8 yards for the Bison. So it looks like they got a solid size offensive line out there, and looks like he might have something to run behind this afternoon.
the 27-yard line, it appears, of the Cougars. So a nice first down run for Brantford. Just a nice light breeze here at the complex in Chatham-Kent. Second down and 2 from the visitors from Brantford, and let's see if there's some movement. I'm not sure. No flags coming out. They keep it on the ground once again, trying to get first down yardage.
Looks like they have, so. Yeah, it looked like there was a little bit of early movement on that Brantford offensive line, but nothing called by the officials, and another nice run for about 4 or 5 yards to get them the first, and they're knocking on the door from the 22-yard line just outside the red zone after 2 plays.
Good first series there for Brantford off that really good return off the kick. First possession of the football game here for the Bisons. 23-yard line of the Cougars. Cougars at 4-1. The Bantam squad trying to lock down second in the division as we get close to playoff time. They keep it on the ground. Look at this huge running back right up the middle, running over everybody. A nice run.
It's a big run by number 28. Jarek Runge just powered off tackle to the left side and picked up another, looks like 10 yards for another first down. So the Bisons look like they're not afraid to run right at that Cougar defense.
He is a big running back for sure, 6'1", 190. And he just rumbled past a number of defenders from Chatham-Kent.
The Cougars are going to need to make some adjustments if they're going to be able to stop that run game early.
Up to the 13-yard line of the Cougars, still scoreless, but this first series for Brantford marching down the field quite quickly as they keep it on the ground once again. Another fake by the quarterback rolling off to his right, but it's right up the middle. And another decent run, decent gain on 1st and 10. They get maybe, I'd say, close to 4.
It looks like Daniel DeRoche for the Bisons. Picked up a few yards in the middle, but the Cougar defense did close that hole pretty quickly and only gave up a couple yards there. So it's like the Bisons are choosing to go running back by committee here. 3 or 4 different guys carrying the ball early in the game already, and all for positive yards.
Tyson Kemp, your quarterback for the Brantford Bisons. 8:40 to go in the first quarter. On the 10-yard line of the Cougars. 2nd and 7 for Brantford. They pitch it off to that far side, cuts to the inside, now cuts back to the outside, trying to turn the corner towards the end zone, but he is stopped short. Nice job on the D
nice
by
run.
the Cougars to bring him down.
Nice run by number 44 for the Bisons, Marco Danino. Just went a little end-around play for the Bisons, had some room to run, but the Cougars did a great job of shutting it down, and they will force a 3rd down here.
So we'll see the call here for Brantford.
If I were a betting man, I think they're going to power one up the middle with that big back they've got there.
Yeah, Jared Runge, we've seen him already once or twice in this series. See if they go back to him here. Big 3rd down for the Bisons. And again, they will keep it on the ground. Nice.
And it is a touchdown for the Bisons.
It's in. Couple of nice fakes by the quarterback, Tyson Kemp, thinking that he might go to the air, but a sneaky little handoff and just getting over the goal line are the Bisons, so they take an early 6-0 lead over the Cougars.
Yeah, nice little fullback dive. We're all expecting the big tailback to get the ball there. I think the Cougars were focused on him as well, and the fullback just dove up the middle and powered his way in for a couple positive yards for the touchdown.
So an efficient first drive for Brantford as they only knock off about 4:14 off the clock. A quick drive down the field, and they'll kick this one up and through. So a 7-0 lead for Brantford right off the impressive run back off the opening kick of the game. They had outstanding field position, and they took advantage.
Yeah, if I'm the Bisons coach, I don't think you can script it any better than that. You get a great return, 4 or 5 positive runs and a touchdown, and you're up early in the game. What more can you ask for a coach on the road?
Exactly. That's the key, too, as they've come off the bus, and they came right to play here early on in this Sunday afternoon. So now the Cougars trying to answer back as they'll get the football for the first time this afternoon. Down 7-0. So a methodical trip down the field with the football. And now for Chatham-Kent, who have had a good season so far, only losing once here in this regular season. They'll try and answer back quickly. 4-1, and the Bisons coming in 3-2. So it looks like this is a pretty pivotal football game for both of these clubs, trying to knock down that second seed going into the postseason in a couple weeks.
Yeah, ideally, it looks like whoever wins this game, it's probably going to see the other team hosting in the playoff game in a couple weeks. So Bisons with a little onside kick didn't surprise the Cougars. Picked up by number 22, Christian Burgoon. And Cougars, fairly positive starting yard, right about the 42-yard line, and that's not a horrible place to start the field position.
Nope, nothing to sneeze at, too. So good job by Burgoon to kind of settle down that bouncing football. And he gives his club good position here with 7:44 to go in the opening quarter. And a 7-0 Brantford lead off of their major score, the first drive of the football game.
So Cougars line up with Bennett at quarterback and Stewart in the backfield. Let's see what kind of look they're going to come out with. And it is a handoff to Stewart. A couple yards up the middle, maybe about 3 yards for first possession. Kind of get a little feel of what's going on out there, but it's a good start.
Not bad at all. Looks like about a 4-yard gain right up the gut there for Corin Stewart. Setting the tone for this game. Offensively, anyway, for the Cougars. Trying to answer back.
Well, 2nd and about 8 for the Cougars. Maybe it looks like same formation here. And Stewart in the backfield. Bennett hands off to Stewart again. Got a little bit of space, but not a whole lot. Picked up maybe 3 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 4 for the Cougars.
So 2 runs here for Stewart. Slowly moving the marker here. So a pivotal 3rd down now for the Cougars, trying to move the chains. And down early, 7-0. So ball at the 49-yard line of the Cougars. At the 49-yard line. The Cougars see if they'll go to the ground once again. And, little fake to the ground. Nice pass. It completed at midfield and past the 45-yard line. Nice job by the Cougars. Hauled in. And a big first down in Bison territory.
Yeah, great play action by the Cougars there. Everybody thinking Stewart was getting the ball. And Malott rolls out and had a nice little pass there. Gets the first down.
So 2 runs and then that third down pass.
It was a great reception by Brady Devereaux there to pick up the first for the Cougars.
So once again, they look to go to the air down that far side. Nobody there. Well overthrown by the quarterback, Malad Bennett, as maybe that was a missed route or just getting signals crossed, but pretty healthy toss, but just nobody there.
I think he got a little bit more pressure than he wanted early, and he threw it where the row was supposed to go, but the receiver didn't have quite enough time to get there, so bring up a 2nd and long for the Cougars here now.
7-0 for the Bisons of Brantford as they score on their first possession. 5:30 and counting to go in quarter number 1. The 4-1 Cougars and the 3-2 Bisons.
I'm sure the Cougars would love to respond to that Bison opening touchdown.
Nowhere to go. Oh, and a nice little juke move there by the running back. Still on his feet, trying to get first down yardage, and he does. Great job by Corin Stewart. He looked like he was going to get dropped back for a loss, but
he was in the backfield,
and
he was going to be 2 or 3 yards. And right as the guy was about to make the tackle, did a nice little deacon duck move, and away he went, and rumbled for 10 or 15 yards to get the first down for the Cougars.
We'll see if that further spurns on the offense here for the Cougars. Nice effort, nice concentration by Stewart to keep with that play.
Definitely going to see a healthy dose of Stewart this afternoon. Nice little swing pass to the left-hand side for the Cougars. Number 181, Caleb Letterman, I believe, was picking up the ball. Ryan Grelmore for the Cougars.
Gets about half the distance, so close to a 5-yard gain in the air as so far Malad Bennett and the offense for the Cougars, a nice mix of on the ground and in the air.
Yeah, they're just gradually, working their way down the field, 3-4 yards at a time and doing what they need to do to get it done to move the ball down the field. So it's an effective drive to this point for the Cougars.
Yeah, there's no hurry. There's 4:10 left to go in the first quarter, so a lot of football left to go here as once again they'll go back to the ground, and Corin Stewart turning on the Jets. Look at him go, pinballing around a couple of defenders, and a nice pickup on 2nd down. That's more than enough to move the chains. First down once again past the 20-yard line. Looks like about the 18 or thereabouts, maybe the 17-yard line of Brantford. So again, we have seen Corin Stewart kind of just slowly ramp up in this first quarter.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see number 24 a lot for the Cougars this afternoon carrying the ball, and that's the reason why when he gets the ball and finds space, he's very effective. And we're gonna see him carry the ball again here right up the middle for another 7 or 8 yards for the Cougars.
As he carries 2 Bison defenders on his back as he has another healthy gain. That looks like it's going to be close to an 8-yard run. So 2nd and short, about 2.5 left to go to move the chains here. You want to get to around the 10-yard line, maybe the 8-yard line for first down. It would be 1st and goal if they move the chains.
Yeah, Coach Stewart said they're not afraid to run the ball with 2 or 3 different players, and don't expect see just a run. Their coach likes to pass the ball, so a little bit of play action here might surprise the Bisons too. That's exactly what we're going to see.
To the end zone in the air.
Corner, and an incomplete pass.
Falls to the turf. Nobody in that vicinity. So on 2nd and short, that will make it a 3rd down now for the Cougars. And now decision time as to what they're going to do in closer at the 10-yard line of Brantford. Do you go back to the ground?
I think in 4-down football here, it's 3rd and short. They've got to try to pound it on the ground here, and I would think if they don't make it, they're still in 4-down territory early. Set the message. That's Stewart for about 3 yards, but there is a flag on the play. Not sure, but Stewart is going to be stopped at about the 5-yard line there. But again, there is a flag on the play, so we'll wait and see, Mike.
And it's going against the Cougars. Looks like it's going to be a hold against Chatham-Kent, so that gain will be negated, and they're going to back up quite a bit. So that's a gift there for Brantford. On 3rd and short, this is going to back things up considerably. So this is going to change the game plan for the Cougars, you'd think.
I think that they're in a passing scenario here, but the Cougars are not afraid to run, and they do run the ball effectively. So at 3rd and 12, we'll see what they've got to come up with here. How deep Coach Stewart and his offensive coordinator will go to the playbook here.
So that's a tough 10-yard penalty on the hold against the Cougars. Football back to the 20-yard line. 3rd and 12 now. Back to pass as expected by Malad Bennett, and that throw well over top of the intended receiver going down the near way. Wesley Dean was the closest receiver, and that is well incomplete. So now this sets up 4th down and very long.
Yeah, it looks like the quarterback and the receivers, a little bit of miscommunication early in the game. 3 or 4 passes at this point, all incomplete, and all of them overthrown long. I think Malott Bennett's expecting his receivers to be somewhere they're not, or the receivers just aren't having the time to get there. But it's going to bring up 4th for the Cougars, and they are going to go for it, Mike.
Fairly deep in Bison territory, pitched off to Stewart. Nowhere to go the first time around. Now scrambling for his life, trying to get what he can get. Now it falls down, and now the football comes out. It's going to be turnover on downs anyway, so the Bisons will take over fairly deep in their own territory.
Yeah.
But the 10-yard hold penalty kind of throwing that possession a complete 180 for Chatham-Kent, so that really messed things up there.
Yeah, Stewart did pick up some positive yards there, grabbed about 5 or 6, but did turn over the ball, but it wasn't going to be enough for a first. And now we have an injured Cougar down on the field. Not sure if that's Stewart. That's about the point of attack where the ball would have came out, so it's hard to tell. Hopefully for the Cougars, it's nothing major. He's moving around out there, so maybe just got the wind knocked out of him, and we'll see where it goes.
Injury timeout. Cougars down 7-0, taking over on downs. Now the Brantford Bisons, 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. So definitely a good thing to see Corin Stewart get up under his own power and walk back to the sidelines. Looks like he's going to be okay, but that's certainly when you see him go down with an injury, the whole team, the whole fan base kind of have a collective gasp because he is very important to the team.
Yeah, when you lose your star running back early, that's not a good sign. So Cougars were glad to see him up and walking, and now their defense is going to have to see how they can hold the Bisons down for their own 15-yard line and need a solid stance here.
Good drive last time. The first drive of the game for the Bisons as they rolled down the field for the major score, although they did have the football in pretty good field position right off the kick.
Yeah, it's a little bit different when you're starting at your own 15 than when you're starting at the opponent's 35-yard line. So Bisons will have to work a little bit harder in this drive, and maybe we'll get a true feel of what their offense really looks like here.
They wind the clock once again down to 1:50 and counting remaining in the first quarter. 7-0 for Brantford. Mike Rennie along with James Clark here with your TV. Jeff Brooks on the camera. Beautiful Sunday here and some early movement before the snap.
Looks like the Cougar defensive line was all over inside of that backfield, so I'm thinking this is going to go against the Cougars. Yeah. Early indication is against the Cougars.
They back it up. So that is the case. So it's going to be a 1st and 5 now for Brantford.
And when you're playing against a good run team, the last thing you can afford to do is to give up unforced errors and penalties.
So now this brings the football to the 20-yard line. 5-yard penalty against the Cougars. So 1st and 5 here for Brantford. Keeping on the ground once again, moving the pile and still on his feet. Finally brought down. Another good run right up the gut there for the Brantford Bisons, and that's enough for the first down to pick up of 6 on that play there. So 1st and 10 for Brantford.
Yeah, Bisons are setting up in what we call a bunch formation offense. Everybody is tight to the line. They have one wide receiver out, but everybody else is right there. It only sets up as a run offense. And, the Cougars have really stacked in there, and they're really trying to do a job of holding them, but they're getting outmanned at the line early in the game.
First and 10 once again. They keep it on the ground and getting around a couple of would-be defenders. Still on his feet. Look at this. Up the middle, flag comes out past the 35-yard line. What a run.
It was a solid run by the Bison tailback there. Just kept pounding for yards and breaking tackles, but the late flag would indicate that there's probably a hold against the Bisons, and it's likely to come back.
They are marching backwards, so that is the case. So gift there for the Cougars. That will negate that run against Brantford. So Cougars get fortunate there, under 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and a 7-0 Brantford lead.
Yeah, sometimes as a coach, when it looks too easy, it usually is. There's a reason for it, and the hold would be the reason.
So back it comes now, and that's a big 10-yard drop for Brantford. as that brings the football back to around the 18-yard line.
The Bisons drop back, 1st and 20. Single backfield, little toss to the left-hand side, looking for some space.
Bouncing off.
And he fumbled the ball.
Loses it. Can the Cougars jump on it? It's going to be close.
That is a Cougar ball.
Taken away by the Cougars. Christian Burgoon, he takes that one away.
That was number 32, Jack Kelly for the Bisons. Had some room to run outside. Looks like he was trying to switch the ball to the outside arm. And in the process of trying to switch it, he got attacked by the Turf Demons and lost the ball, and the Cougars capitalize on. They're going to get the ball back inside of Bison territory at the start of the second quarter here.
There we go, and what a way to end that first frame there for the Cougars as they hop on that loose football, take the ball away, and down 7-0. They've got a nice chance to get back on even terms here. A short football field to work with as they switch sides to begin the second quarter. 7-0 right now for Brantford.
So an entertaining first quarter, to say the least. Both teams had some solid offensive possessions. Both teams with a turnover, and 7-0 for the Bisons to start. So.
Yep, and not bad when the Cougars had the football the first time around. They had some good plays, and they just were handcuffed by that third down holding penalty that stalled things. So we'll see what they can do with the short football field. And now it's a bobble, but a reception, a nice haul in there by Jonathan Sanderson from the pass from Malott Bennett. And that's a big 1st and 10 reception for the Cougars as they now get deeper into Brantford territory.
Yeah, definitely caught the Bisons off guard. Everybody was looking to the backfield to Corin Stewart to carry the ball. A quick play action, a little pro pass up the middle, and
again, a little bobble. The ball comes loose, and they've fallen. It looks like the Cougars will retain possession, but it's been a little touch and go. Even with that Sanderson bobble after the reception, your heart jumps a little bit, and Cougars fans and players and coaches had that happen once again right there.
Well, the Cougars get a chance to regroup here. The Bisons weren't happy with something they saw in the Cougar defense and called a quick timeout here, so Cougars going to have an opportunity to figure out what's happening and see how they can get that ball in the end zone from the 20-yard line.
11:18 to go in the first half. Wind picking up just a little bit. Beautiful blue, clear skies here in Chatham-Kent. Wonderful day for football. And a good game matching these two teams, these two very talented teams together today. The 4-1 Cougars on the Bantam side and the Bisons 3-2. And you really can't get more two even teams here, Clarkie, going together.
Yeah, on paper they're pretty even, and until you actually see each other personally and physically, it's hard to tell how you match up against a team. But on paper they're dead even coming into the game here, and and as they say, the winner takes all, so to speak. Here, winner gets to host the other team in a couple weeks.
Second place virtually on the line here. So 4-1 Cougar team, 3-2 for the Bisons. And off the timeout, ball will be at the 11-yard line.
As you said, it's a great day for football. I'm not sure there is a day that's not a great day for football, Mike, but perfect sunny afternoon out here in comparison to a week ago when it was 100+ out here. So
air is much drier and lighter today. Now a big job here for Stewart trying to turn the corner. Corin Stewart jukes around one other guy, and now finally he's caught up by 2 or 3 defenders, thrown down by Nick Piccioni.
Yeah, definitely a broken play there. Stewart took the ball. Looked like it was going to be an off tackle on the left. Nowhere to go. Stewart rolls deep into his backfield, 10 to 15 yards in the backfield, turns around trying to find some space, and I believe he almost got back to the line of scrimmage. So he turned a huge loss into a virtual no-gain play. And there is a Cougar down on the field.
I think that is Stewart.
It is Stewart again down on the field. And
second time he's got an injury here in this young football game, and this looks like it's a little more serious than the other one as he remains down, the training staff looking after him.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign for the Cougars. Again, when your feature back goes down twice within the span of about 6 plays. So whether it was a residual injury from the first time he went down or if this is something new, but he's in no hurry to get up right now, and the trainer's there. He is moving around, so that's a positive sign, but
He has had the lion's share of the offense in this football game so far. He's been impressive. So now this is a good sign that he's getting up with very minimal help.
As I said, Corin Stewart, he is a tough little running back. He's not afraid of contact, so he'll get banged around a little bit, but it's a good sign that he's up and walking, and that's a bonus for the Cougars.
Slow walk back to the. Oh, we've lost a roster here. That's it.
And our roster is gone.
Luckily, we have more, so we're good. Oh, and we got it back. Perfect.
Thanks to the Bison fans for returning the roster for us.
A friendly rivalry between the two. Stewart back to the sidelines, again under his own power, which is a positive thing, but without Stewart for this play here. Third critical down here for the Cougars, and once again, right off the handoff, nowhere to go.
That was Joey Doxter coming in for the Cougars, and right away the Bisons showed no mercy on the backup tailback there. Bring up a long fourth down for the Cougars now.
So once again, the Bison's D comes up large on 3rd and long for Chatham-Kent, making the task a bit more difficult here with 10-13 and counting to go in the first half.
And again, no substitutions for the Cougars, so it looks like they are going to go for it at 4th and 17. So.
Here they go. They're going to go to the air down that far side. Jump ball, and it falls incomplete. There is a flag out, however.
Flag right at the point of contact. Looks like that's going to be a pass interference against the Bisons. And if it is, that's a huge bonus for the Cougars. It looked like the contact was bang on at the time of the pass. So, hard to say at this point. But if it is a pass interference and the Cougars pick up a first down,
that would be massive. It wasn't really an obvious foul, I don't think, from this vantage point anyway, but that flag came out awfully quickly.
Yeah, the official obviously saw something we didn't. It looked like, potential for pass interference. That DB may have been a half step early getting to the receiver prior to the ball. So, but they're going to discuss it, and if that's the case, it's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Cougars, and that would put them about the 5-yard line.
And that is the case. They have signaled. Here's the call here. So a 10-yard.
No, it wasn't a pass interference. It was contact with a receiver downfield.
All right, so not nearly as good as a pass interference. It's still 4th down here. Cougars are rewarded 10 yards, but still a 4th down. They go to the air, and it's incomplete. Again, a missed assignment there. The intended receiver, Morlog, as that pass was thrown a few feet behind him. So the Cougars do not get the pass interference call, and the 4th down pass goes incomplete. So the positive, once again, is you're pinning the Bisons down very deep in their own territory, and you're still only down by 7.
Yeah, Cougars have been twice inside the red zone and got nothing to show for it, and they have to find a way to put some points on the board when they get inside of there and come up with something.
.9:40 left in the second quarter. Both defenses playing quite well in the early part of this football game. Bison's taking the football over in their own zone, very deep at their own 6-yard line. So let's see if the Cougars D can take advantage of this. Pin them even further. Let's see. From the 6, they'll keep it on the ground, trying to pound it up the middle. Some nice positive yards for Brantford.
Yeah, the Bisons are just pounding the ball in the middle. They're playing a pretty tight offense. It's even hard to see who's carrying the ball for them, but they are moving the ball effectively, and they're forcing that Cougar defense backwards. The problem with the Cougar defense, they're set up for pass defend and outside run. They're not a huge defense, and they're not equal in size to this huge Bison offensive line. They're getting pushed around early.
So about a 7-yard gain on the ground on 1st and 10 for Brantford. They've made it as far as the 14-yard line. And a flag comes flying out as the Bisons keep it on the ground once again.
Yeah, so that was a great defensive play by the Cougars. Looked like no gain for the Bisons there, but again, as you said, there is a flag.
it is against the Cougars. 10-yard penalty, so that's a call against the defense. So a gift there for Brantford.
Yeah, that is tough for the Cougars, and get a great defensive stop there, but end up with the penalty forcing the first down for the Bisons.
Brantford has the ball first down at their own 23.
8:25 to go in the second quarter. 23-yard line for Brantford with the football and up by a touchdown. Quarterback Kemp pitching it off to his right. Now switching off to the left and trying to find a hole. Not a whole lot there. Well, actually
like
a pretty good run. That's not bad. About a 7
or 8 yard run for Jarrett Runge there. And again, the Bisons are just sharing the ball to different running backs here, and all of them showing success when they do carry it. So the Cougars need to find an answer for this potent run game.
8-yard run brings up second down and 2.
7:50 remaining in the second quarter. Bison's just pounding the football up the middle by and large here in this football game so far, but only have a 7-point lead to show for it right now. Second and short for Brantford.
Number 28 in the backfield for the Bisons, moving around.
And they keep it on the ground once again, trying to get the necessary first down yardage. And
looks like it's going to be really close here. The official on this side standing right at the first down chain, and nice little fullback dive there for the Bisons. And it looks like we're going to get a measurement.
Yeah, hard to tell from this vantage point. Looks like I don't know. That's based on where that football is, middle of the field. That's really hard to decipher if they got that or not.
Yeah, from this vantage point, it looks like it's right at the marker, but it's hard to tell. I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to say first down Bisons.
That's all right. You might very well be right, because the way that football's positioned, that's awfully close.
50-50 chance here, Mike.
So you're trying to bait me into a wager here. Is that what's going on? You're trying to bring me into a bet. I'm not biting. For this one, anyway. It looks like this is going to be really close. Oh,
and
boy.
It is a first down by the nose. Yes, it is.
Yeah, nice job. James Clark gets that one correct from an odd angle. So the chains move again for Brantford. 7:13 to go in this second quarter, and the breeze has died right down for the time being.
Looks like Brantford has no intentions of going to the air anytime soon, and looks like they're going to continue to eat up as much clock as they can and pound the ball against this smaller Cougar defense. And the Cougars' athleticism needs to step up and find a way to stop this run right here.
Yeah, stick with what's working if you're Brantford. And this ground game is doing quite well in this game so far. 1st and 10 from the 33 of the Cougars. Pitch back and some room to move along the outside, along this near side. First down and more to the 52-yard line. Big run by number 44, Marco Danino, who got to the outside. And once he did, big gain here for Brantford, so the chains move in a big way.
Yeah, just a nice little off-tackle play by the Bisons. Nothing to trick the Cougars by any means, but just with their size and speed, they got an edge onto the corner of the Cougars, and he was off to the races for about 20 yards.
The 52-yard line awfully close to midfield, considering the starting position here for Brantford. They've done a very good job here, and they're far from over. 6:24 to go in the second quarter. 1st and 10 Brantford, up 7-0. And now they fake it to the air, but they hand it off the last minute. And I think they're away to the races now, right up the middle, all the way down the field. This will be a touchdown for Brantford.
There is a flag in the backfield, Mike. Let's not get too excited just yet. There is going to be a hold against Brantford. And all that, again, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Oh, and even the tent goes, over tea kettle at the Cougars sideline there. So a little good news, bad news for Chatham-Kent there. The touchdown gets negated on that holding penalty against Brantford. But the headquarters it needs a bit of work along that far side with that gust of wind.
Yeah, it looked like the Cougars did a great job there of stopping the play in the backfield. And the running back made a great cutback. I believe that was number 39, Josh Lightfoot for the Bisons. Cut back and found a hole and ran into the house, but unfortunately he's going to get backed up with a penalty, bring up 1st and 20 for the Bisons. So the Cougars get a second life on this one.
Big break there for Chatham-Kent. Could have been easily a 13-0 lead, but they'll take the 7-0 deficit and they'll take the football back behind the 45-yard line.
Well, maybe that's the breath the Cougars were looking for here.
Looking for something to kickstart things this afternoon. 1st and 20 here for Brantford. They pitch it back to the running back, going up the middle, and a little bit of positive yardage on 1st down. They pick up maybe 4.
Yeah, pick up a 4, but Christian Burgoon made a great play stopping that for minimal yards, and that's what the Cougars need right here. They're get a little bit of momentum to build on here, get a 2nd and long for the Bisons now.
They want to keep that defensive pressure up here. 5:10 and counting left to go until halftime, and still a close 7-0 lead for Brantford. Cougars trying to make it a 5-1 record on this season in the Bantam division. From their own 46-yard line, Brantford. And they keep it right up the middle once again, trying to fool the Cougar D. They'll get a few positive yards past the 50, but again, a nice takedown by the Cougars on defense.
And it was number 39 for the Bisons, Josh Lightfoot. And you could hear the coaches from the sideline yelling, counter, counter, and they were exactly right. Everything looked like it was coming to the right side, and he countered back to the left off tackle for a few yards. And now, 3rd and 7 is a manageable distance for the Bisons.
Big play here for the Cougars defense. 4:10 to go until halftime. See if the Cougars can stop them here.
Looks like a little bit of confusion in the Bison backfield, and they do call a timeout as a result of it. So we're going to get some time for the Cougars to figure out a play to stop this 3rd and 8 for the Bisons.
On the timeout, 7-0 for Brantford. 4:07 left in the 2nd quarter.
Well, after that timeout, Mike, we're back and ready to go here. The Bisons have reorganized themselves here, and looks like they have a play, and they're ready to go from the line here.
4:07 left. Big stop if the Cougars can get it here on 3rd down. 8 yards to go here for Brantford. Quarterback Kemp.
28 deep in the backfield for the Bisons. And, we do have a procedure on the Bisons, and it's going to back them up even further. It's going to bring up about 3rd and 13 now for the Bisons. Might change their play of what they're expecting to do here.
That is big. All 3 flags come flying out of there. It's a 5-yard drop on that penalty for Brantford. So another gift handed to the Cougars.
Yeah, easy one for us to see when the line of scrimmage is right in front of us.
We have good vantage point for a short amount of time here when the ball is right around midfield, as you say. So we'll try this again on the other side of the 50-yard line, around the 49 of Brantford. So this makes it a 3rd and 13.
Bisons line up with 3 guys in the backfield again on this play, so it looks like it's going to be another run play.
They've had success with it.
They are going to pass.
They drop it back, go to the air down that far side, jump ball, and it goes over everybody. About 6 inches over the intended receiver for Brantford. Looked like it was Jack Kelly who tried to haul that one down. Good coverage, though, by the Cougars, and it falls to the turf. And now 4th and 13 now for Brantford.
Yeah, it was a nice defensive play by the Cougars to bring up 4th and long, but I don't see a whole lot of player adjustments coming in for the Bison, so it looks like both teams are a little gun-shy to bring out their special teams early. So the Bisons are going to go for it here.
Biggest play on D so far this afternoon for Chatham-Kent. 4th and 13 for Brantford, and a 7-0 lead for the Bisons. They look to go to the air once again, not surprisingly, down the near side, and it's off the fingertips. Once again, along the near side, Jack Kelly was the intended target, and he just missed hauling that one down, but the Cougars they'll take over on downs.
Yeah, look, great defensive play by Evan Cole there. Looked like ball was a little bit underthrown. Evan Cole got a piece of it and knocked it out of way, and the Cougars are going to get possession in the Bison half of the field with about 3.5 minutes to go. So we'll see if the Cougars can get on the board here and tie this game up.
Second time the Cougars will have the starting field position in around the midfield area.
You know, the Cougars have been outmanned most of the game to this point, but they're still right in this and have every opportunity here to tie this up going into the half.
Defense has played pretty well. They've been helped out by some penalties, too, as the Cougars take back the football on offense. A little swing pass along that far side, getting around a couple of defenders. Some room to move, and finally tripped up past the 35-yard line, but still a big pickup for Chatham-Kent. Under 3 minutes to go now in the first half, and a big pickup there for the Cougars.
Well, it's a first down for the Cougars. Looks like we do have another timeout. Or no, that'll be the 3-minute warning issued by the head referee, Mr. Floyd Fenema.
We have reached the 3-minute warning. Cougars have the ball at the Brantford 32.
Up to the 32-yard line of the Bisons. Clock wound once again. This time they'll hand it off to the running back along the near side. Lots of pressure, trying to turn the corner. He does. He'll get some positive yards. Good run by Dockstader. As again, it looked like in the backfield he was in a world of trouble, but somehow he was able to turn on the afterburners and get to the outside and pick up, looked like maybe a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, turned a 5-yard loss into a 3-yard gain for the Cougars and bring up second and about 7 for the Cougars inside of 3 minutes here with an opportunity to drive and score going into the half.
He ran a long way for a 3-yard pickup, but that's a lot better than, as you mentioned, a several-yard loss.
Coaches might want to tell him to run north and south a little bit more often.
Save some energy.
Yeah.
Save some energy for the second half. 2.5 to go until halftime. Mike Renier along with James Clark here with your TV. Jeff Brooks on the camera. Second down for the Cougars. Another handoff. And Brendan Norman didn't incur with that assignment. Yeah. Not a whole lot for him to move with there. Up the middle, he maybe gets 1 yard.
Yeah, Cougars trying a little bit different look with the loss of Corin Stewart due to injury. They're bringing in a few different players, and they haven't found that chemistry without him just yet. So.
Third down and about 6.
The Cougars going to line up with Joey Dockster in the backfield, and they're going to go to that swing pass to the right-hand side again. Some positive yards out there to I believe that's number 50, Blake Hart, carrying, but it's going to be real close to first down there again. It looks like it is a first down.
And he gets it. He gets it, not by much, but they make the call. And a good job after the catch to get just enough to move the chains. 2 minutes even to go now in the second quarter.
Well, the Cougars at the 20-yard line, their third trip to the red zone today, and hopefully they've got a plan to capitalize on this one.
Yeah, 0 for 2 so far. Just once they get to the red zone so far, things just seem to have crumbled.
Between penalties and turnovers in the red zone haven't been very effective. But they do seem to like this swing pass again here for some positive yards. And that's
look at this, to the end zone. They're on the board. Touchdown, Cougars.
Swing pass to Blake Hart. They found something in the air that works and get the ball into space. And like I said, Cougars are on the board. We got a whole new ball game here.
And they time it well just before halftime to get almost even against the Brantford Bisons. And that was a perfect time to get everything in order in the red zone with their offense as they hit pay dirt. 7-6 your score now as they look to kick the tying point. Excellent job the last 3 or 4 plays of the football for the Cougars to get back on even terms.
Yeah, defense have held them in this game on a couple possessions and forced some turnovers, and the offense have used a little bit of creativity on that drive, is the term I'll use here, in order to get it done, and they're an extra point away from tying this ball game.
And DeVoe, and they don't actually, as DeVoe's kick blocked. And so the Cougars actually a point down right now. 7-6 will be the score with 95 seconds remaining in this second quarter. So still lots of time here with the football for Brantford before halftime. And that could be a pivotal point that is left on the table.
You know, not getting extra points is costly in close football games, and a lot of times they do come back to haunt you in the end. Now, if the Cougars are going to come back, they're going to have to go for a 2-point conversion at some point here to at least tie the game or even go for a lead. So,
if they give Brantford any more points. If.
That's just true. The Cougar defense has stepped up, and we can say that the Cougar defense might put a goose egg on for the rest of the game, and we'll see what happens with the offense.
The power of positive thinking. They'll kick off from the 45-yard line.
The last time the Bisons got a kickoff, they rumbled down to the Cougar 35-yard line. So I'll see if the Cougars do something a little bit different on this kickoff and stay away from number 44 back there, Marco Danino, who had the big return last time.
A multi-hopper now finally picked up around the 35-yard line for Brantford, and not much further than that.
Yeah, no return there. It looked like number 32 carried that ball for the Bisons. That'd be Jack Kelly, one of their feature running backs. So best position for the Cougar defense to be in to start a drive today.
Minute 32 to go in the second quarter. Bison 7, Cougars 6. Another healthy crowd here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Beautiful day, though. Wonderful day to watch some football. And the first of two doubleheader here.
Bisons brought down their JVs to play at 3 o'clock, which is another important game for second place this afternoon. So,
yeah, both the Bantams and junior varsity squads have had a pretty good season here for 2018. Into the last little bit until playoff time. They'll keep it on the ground. The Bisons will, right up the middle, and really nowhere to go. Good job by the front line of the Cougars. Yeah. Minimal gain, if anything.
Last two drives, Cougars made a few adjustments. That looked like number 99, big Mitchell Fortuna making the play for the Cougars there. So they're putting in a little bit more size in that defensive line to try to take away that Bison run game.
They do get a couple on the ground, so second and about 8 or so to go for Brantford. 1:14 and counting left. They will pitch it back to the running back, trying to find a hole along that far side, and forced out along that far sideline.
Just a simple pitch pass to the left side, and didn't look like there was going to be anything there, but they picked up a couple positive yards, and we'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Bisons. The Cougar defense is holding strong here in the last minute of the game here, or minute and a half, I should say.
Yeah, it looks like the defense slowly getting a little stronger as this football game goes along here for Chatham-Kent. Under a minute to play until the halftime.
Clock running here, 45 seconds. The Cougar defense stepping up here. See what happens on this 3rd down, Mike.
Another biggest play. Yeah, another big assignment here for the D. As the Cougars pitch it back, trying to find some room up the middle. Now bouncing off to the outside here along this near side. Flag comes out. Running back gets some distance between him, and now he'll be wrapped up and set out, but still a great run.
Great run, tackled about the 20-yard line by Joey Doxeter. And again, there is flag on the play. It looks like this one's going to come back on a hold. So looked like the first down was achieved and a hold after the fact. So we'll see what happens here with about 27 seconds left in the half.
Danino, another impressive run, and we have seen this hold penalty. This is, I think, the 3rd one we've seen in this first half, combined between the two squads. That takes a lot of yards off the table here. They did get the first down quite easily, but the Cougars able to get fortunate there, and the place of the football not nearly as dire.
So it'll bring up 1st and 10 for the Bisons at about their own 40-yard line. Bringing it up a little bit. Up to the 50-yard line, I apologize. Cougar defense playing a little bit of bend but don't break here going into the half, Mike.
Yeah, definitely holding their own this afternoon. 27 seconds left in the second quarter. 1st and 10, Brantford. Kemp with the football, pitches it back.
Pitch to the right-hand side. Cougars are all over the edge here. You're going to step out of bounds for about a 7 or 8 yard gain. That'll stop the clock with 21 seconds here.
Danino with another carry. Cougars just trying to get these seconds off the clock as quick as they can. Football now just inside midfield in Cougar territory, close to the 53-yard line.
Territory at about their own 54-yard line. Second down and 3 for Brantford.
Bisons are in no hurry to get up to the offensive line of scrimmage here. Lining up with three guys in the backfield again, which is pretty much what they've done all afternoon. One receiver on the right-hand side. It is a pass play for the Bisons, going deep over the middle. Just a little overthrown, incomplete. Will bring up 3rd and 3 for the Bisons.
They went for broke there, and it was overthrown by a fair bit. Now we're down to 16.3 seconds until halftime.
Tried to catch the Cougars off guard with a pass play. That's only the second time they passed this game. So.
Wind picking up once again here as we approach halftime. Cougars 4-1. The Bisons of Brantford 3-2. And as we mentioned off the start of the broadcast, this will go a long way to determining who gets a second place seed as we get closer and closer to the playoff time here. The Bantams, both of these squads, a lot of talent on them. 16 seconds left. Bisons back to work here, and a big 3rd down for both sides of the football. They pitched off to that far side. Good job by the Cougar D right at midfield.
That was number 24, Corn Stewart, back in the game, and what a pivotal time to come back in and make a great stop in the backfield to bring up 4th down.
He's been down a couple of times in this game, couple of injuries, and we're certainly glad to see him back on the field after that last takedown. Looked a little bit more dire than the first one. He was gingerly walking off the field.
I think his Cougar defensive players that are on the field with him are happy to see him back there, too, after that great play.
And once they get the football in the second half, we'll see if we can work some more of his magic on that side of the football, as this will be the last play of the first half. In a 7-6 game, Brantford with a narrow lead. Midfield. Fourth down. The last play of the half. That doesn't matter all that much. And on 4th down. Still with the football. Now on the second effort, taken down.
A solid tackle by Christian Burgoon to end the half for the Cougars and not allow points. And we've got a great ball game here. 7-6 at the half. And early it looked like it was going to be all Bisons, but the Cougar defense made sure that wasn't going to be the issue here.
Yeah, the defense looks to be getting stronger as this game goes on, so that is a great sign. And those 6 points on the board just a couple minutes ago gets the Cougars back in this football game, and it shows that the Cougars can do something in the red zone, because something they couldn't do the previous 2 times they had it deep down the field.
Well, they're going to get the ball to start the second half, so 12 minutes from now we'll see what they've got.
Anybody's game, it's a good one. Bantam action, it's the Cougars down by 1, 7-6. Brantford the lead, second half coming up. Second half action here at the Chatham-Kent Community Athletic Complex. Mike Renier along with James Clark, and we are in the middle of a great football game, Clarkie, so far. 7-6 for the Bisons.
Yeah, short of the blocked extra point by the Cougars, we got a very even first half. Could have been a little bit different if the Cougars hadn't turned it over a couple times in their own red zone, but they're going to start the second half with the ball and see if they can get things going here early. Early and often is what Coach Stewart said he would like to do.
Yeah, things rounding into form as that first half went along. A little squib kick to begin the second half, and good hands there for the Cougars. Joey Dockstader as he hangs on to the football, and good field position to kick off quarter 3 for Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, it's the second time already that the Bisons have opted to go with the onside kick, and the Cougars were ready for it, and Dockster with the great hands picked it up. Nowhere to go, but made sure he hung onto that ball and gives the Cougars a great starting field position to start the second half.
Cougars with a nice drive down the field. The last offensive possession they had towards the end of the second quarter, where they have their 6 points, and got very close to the Bisons, and see if they can overtake them here on this drive. And they go to the air, little pass along that far side, yards after the catch, looking pretty good, close to a first down. It looks like they will be maybe a yard shy, just past midfield. And a good start to this second half offensively here for the Cougars.
Cougars have found something to work in the air. You know, they tried to go long a couple times and had no luck, but they've gone to that little swing pass to the side a couple times, and the Bison defenders are playing 8 to 10 yards off the ball, so it's just an easy catch and run for the Cougars.
Second down and a long yard here as they will keep it on the ground, trying to pound it up the middle for the necessary yards. It's going to be close. We'll see where they spot this football.
Yeah, hard to tell. The officials are standing right at the first down spot. I'm going to have to say this is going to be a first down again, and yes, it is. 2 for 2 on the afternoon on that call.
You're perfect on your predictions.
Only
Although
when
that
I'm
one
not
was
buying lottery.
suspect because you were making that prediction as the first down signed by the stripes were being made, but I'll still give it to you.
Regardless, I'm still correct, my friend, which I don't hear very often. So Cougars with first down from just inside of midfield here.
Take what you can get. 90 seconds into this second half.
Cougars with the balanced look, and they're going to run a little bit of a outside post route here to I think that's number 50 there for the Cougars, Blake Hart. Sorry, 58, Wesley Dean. Bring up 2nd and 10 for the Cougars here from just inside midfield.
Looked like he had the height for that catch. It just went right between his hands and fell to the turf. So second down here for the Cougars.
Bonus for the Cougars looking in the backfield. We do see number 24, Corn Stewart, back in the game on the offensive side of the ball. And he's going to get the ball here. For some positive yards here. Looks like he's going to gain about 6 or 7 on that play. Bring up 3rd and manageable 4th down.
Nice burst at that very end there to get up to the 45-yard line.
Almost like you knew I was calling his name right away. He picks up the ball and rumbles for about 7 yards.
Hopefully he can stay healthy in this second half. He's certainly going to be needed for this offense, even both sides of the football. We saw him on defense towards the end of the first half, too, so he is very valuable to this team, and glad to see him back out there with 9:38 to go. Yeah. Third quarter as they'll go back to the ground once again, and nowhere to go. Good job by the defense for Brantford to drop the football back a bunch of yards, so that's...
Yeah, Brantford defense right away realized that number 24 was back in the backfield there, and they keyed on him right away, and they had 3 guys making the tackle for a 3-yard loss. So again, no special team substitutions for the Cougars, and looks like from almost midfield they're going to go for it again. Neither team has showed any indication that they're confident with their special teams.
They're thinking if they can make this key 4th down play, this might springboard them to bigger things and get things going here with this offense. The 7-6 Brantford lead. They
Another
go to the
swing
air.
Pass to the side here.
Nowhere to go
with it. That was number 50 for the Cougars. Blake Hart receiving that pass, but once he got it, the Bisons were all over him, and that's going to force a turnover to start the second half for the Cougars here, and Bisons will get the ball with relatively good field position to start.
That's right. So, again, the drive collapsing towards midfield for the Cougars. And as James mentions, good field position to start off this drive coming up here for Brantford. A 1-point lead for the Bisons at 7-6. And 8:40 remaining in quarter 3.
Yeah, that Cougar defense is going to have to step up big again here.
And they've only gotten better as this game has gone on. Good job by the D of the Cougars. They want to continue this here and keep it a 1-point game. From the 48-yard line on their own side of the field, they'll keep it on the ground. And I'd say they gain maybe 2 on that run right up the gut.
Yeah, Bison's not showing anything different than they have the entire game, just running up the middle for the most part for a gain of about 3 or 4. Trey, we got no outside contain over here, eh? That's why they keep busting on it. The guys like 6 yards deep every time. So the Bisons line up again, 2nd and 7 here. Cougar defense is ready for the challenge here. Bisons with 3 guys in the backfield again, 1 receiver to the right-hand side.
They'll keep it on the ground once again, and again, a little bit of a gain right up to midfield. I think the ball reached the midfield.
Yeah, about a 2-yard
there.
gain for the Bisons there on that play. Bring up 3rd down and about 5 or 6 for the Bisons.
Oh, not even as far as I thought.
It looked like there was more, but
even better news for the Cougars. So 3rd and a little longer to go now, maybe 6 to go until they are able to move the chains. So Another big play here by the Cougars defense, trying to hold the Bisons at bay in a 7-6 Brantford lead. Close to the halfway mark of this third quarter. Kemp waiting for the football.
Looks like a pitch to the left-hand side, nowhere to go. Steps back inside, and he's met for about a 3-yard gain.
Good
Tackled
job
by number 24, Corin Stewart.
Good job by Stewart to bring down number 28, Jared Runge, who has some huge size on him, 6'1", 190. And again, he's been used in some key situations this afternoon. And he gets taken down about a yard, just a yard plus before the first down marker. So obviously they'll go for it here.
Yeah, if the history of the game is any indication, they're not going to do any special teams. It's going to be a straight run up the middle for a first down is their plan here. Cougar defense going to step up and try to stop that.
Key play of the football game here midway through the third quarter. They'll pitch it off to that far side up the middle. And let's see, he gets taken down before the first down yardage. Big play as Danino is denied the first down.
Yeah.
Great
play by
the
Braden
Cougars.
Scarab. Stepped up and off the left edge there and took away what looked like it was going to be a pretty good gain and just stuffed him for maybe a 1-yard gain. And the Cougars going to get the ball again right at midfield.
Huge play on D for the Cougars as they continue to shine on that side of the football. And right close to midfield, the offense will come back on the field for Chatham-Kent now in a 1-point game.
Yeah, halfway through the third quarter here, and no change in score. Cougar offense is ready to go. And Corin Stewart back in the backfield. No, it looks like they're going to put Doxter in the backfield and bring Stewart out to receiver on the right-hand side. And they are going to pass to Stewart. There he is with the...
No, underthrown, significantly underthrown, and that is a big plus. That was not picked off. Right there was Eli Southwell of the Bisons. Looked like he was going to pick that one off as that one was in the air for a long, long time.
Yeah, the Cougars had what they thought was a good play set up there, but just not enough time to get that pass off and errant thrown ball. And luckily that they're coming up to second down and not going back out on defense.
So now that they got that out of their system, they have 2nd and 10. A little bit of a rough handoff, and this is going to translate into a loss. That is significant here. Brought down number 11, Doxter. He had nowhere to go, and that looked like it was a broken play right off the start.
Yeah, Malott Bennett and Doxter weren't on the same page there. Malott Bennett opened left, Doxter went right, and they scrambled just to get the handoff in there, and by the time they did, they were 5 yards in the backfield, and Doxter was running backwards. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
Third down and a country mile to go now for Chatham-Kent. 17 yards to gain here. Under 5 to go in the third quarter. Here's a flag right off of the start, and it's going to be against the Cougars.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to get a procedure call against the Cougars, and it's going to back them up even further here. It's going to bring up third and about 23 now. There aren't a whole lot of plays in the book from that distance.
Not without the help of a taxi. It'll be 3rd and 22 now for Chatham-Kent. Down by a yard.
So we'll see what Coach Stewart and his offensive coordinator have planned here for this 3rd and long here.
.444, four's wild here in this third quarter. Left to go.
Doxter in the backfield and Stewart on the right-hand side, and the Twins look. They are going to pass to the right.
Malott Bennett's pass high in the air, and the Cougars looking for a flag to come out. Looking like there might have been a little bit of a bump.
Looked like just incidental contact between the receiver and the DB there, and DB ended up on the ground. The receiver stopped running after that, and the ball just ends up, errantly floating over both their heads, and that's going to bring up 4th and long, and I would expect that we're going to see some type of special teams for the Cougars at this point because there aren't plays in the book for 4th and 23.
Very slim. That section of the playbook is very slim.
There's only one that I could think of that works really effectively. Usually it's called punt.
Yeah, usually, yes. Use your foot.
Yeah.
Kick it as hard as you can.
But we are going to get a timeout by the Cougars, so they're going to take a look. Maybe they're thinking about going forward, or they want to make sure they got the right special team unit in there.
Timeout, 4:25 to go in the third quarter. Still a 7-6 Brantford lead.
You know, if I'm the Cougar coaching staff, I got to rely on my defense, who's got it done for us all day to this point, and they've really held their team in this game here. I believe you got to punt this away and let your defense come back and stand tall for you.
And this would be the first punt of the entire afternoon for either side if they go this route.
They're gonna.
And it does not look like they're.
Oh, they are set up in a punt
they are.
formation
Yes, they
here.
are. Pardon me. A low
bad snap.
and this is a broken play here as Kerr picks it up, runs with the football, and gets close to the line of scrimmage, but that is going to turn the football over to the Bisons in very good field position inside the 40-yard line in a 7-6 Brantford lead. So a very low snap and another broken play, and we've had a few of those for the Cougars this afternoon.
Bad snap, broken play, no gain on there. Weren't able to get the kickoff, and maybe that's the reason why the Cougars aren't using their special teams so much, is they're not confident in the strength of that unit.
So this puts even more pressure on the D now for the Cougars, who've had a good afternoon, holding Brantford to 7 points, and they're within 1, but this is another big assignment here. 1st and 10 Brantford, 37-yard line of the Cougars. Under 4 to go in the third quarter. They pass it back and a couple of handoffs, and now the running back gets some room along that far side, turning the corner along that far side, trying to go to the end zone, has some room. Can he get it in there?
Just short of the end zone.
A yard or two shy, but what a run by Marco Danino. And talk about a fellow who's getting stronger as the game goes on. He is certainly one of them.
And you know, what a play to set that up, and in the backfield there, the Bisons pitch it to the left-hand side, run the reverse, and then counter it on top of it. It goes to 3 different guys in that backfield. The Cougars hammer 2 of them, and they just couldn't get their hands on number 44, and he bounced the outside for a great run and just missed scoring on that play. And there is a Cougar down on the play on the far side of the field. That's an unfortunate break for the Cougars. You know, looked like they might have had him in the backfield, but with a little bit of razzle-dazzle on the part of the Bisons, and they went to something different in the playbook here, and they're threatening to score again.
Yeah, you go from one extreme to the other in terms of emotions when you think you have a big play on D, and then it turns out the other way, and a huge play on offense for Brantford. 3:43 left on this clock here in the third quarter. And the injured Cougar looks to be relatively all right.
Got up on his own accord, which is always a positive sign. He's walking off the field, and Cougar defense is ready to go. They're going to have to their work cut out for them on 1st and goal from the 3-yard line, it looks like.
Bison's up by 1, looking for more. Very deep in the Cougar territory. Quarterback hands it off up the middle, trying to get the yardage for the touchdown, and they have it. It is a major score for Brantford, and a big 6 points makes it 13-6 for the Bisons.
Yeah, it looked like just a little fullback dive. I believe it was number 39, Josh Lightfoot, just dove up the middle and was able to push that pile for the couple yards they needed. And now the Bisons are going to go up right now 13-6 and looking to make it 14-7 with the convert, or sorry, 14-6 with the convert.
The Cougars, although trying to do what was done to them after the Chatham-Kent touchdown with the block of the extra points, so we'll see if turnabout's fair play or not here. You don't quite have the size on the Cougar line that you have going the other way, but the kick is up.
I do not see any indication. It is good.
Yep, it's up and through, so it will be a 14-6 lead for Brantford. And a 3:20 left to go on the clock in this third quarter. So a big major score there for the Bisons.
You know, as strong as both offensive running games have looked, it has been a defensive game to this point.
That goes to show you how strong both D units are. Still plenty of time in this game. But you think this is an important drive here coming up offensively for Chatham-Kent, trying to stay with Brantford as long as they can.
The last two times the Bisons kicked off the ball to the Cougars was an onside kick, so leads me to believe they might not have a strong, deep kicking game either, and I wouldn't be surprised to see another onside kick here from the Bisons. I'm not sure if the Cougars are ready for that, but they do have a couple guys sitting about 10 to 15 yards deep, so we'll see. Other guys are stepping up.
4-1 record for the Cougars here, the Bantam division, 3-2 for Brantford.
Yeah, a lot on the stake on this game today for a home field playoff game.
This game far from decided. And now a decent kick here for the Brantford Bisons, picked up around the 30 for Chatham-Kent as they will run it back past the 40-yard line, close to the 45, down around the 44. So it looks like that's going to be a pretty nice starting position once again here for the Cougars.
Decent kick for the Bisons. That's number 58, Wesley Dean, with the return. Brings it up to the 45, but it looks like he is injured on the play. He's there holding his face mask and rolling around on the ground. So that'll bring out the Cougar trainers again this afternoon. They've been very busy.
They have been. Hopefully Dean's all right. Not very quick at all to do any major movements.
That'll give the Cougars a little bit of time to put their strategy together for this drive. You know, first down from their own 45, almost midfield here. So see what the Cougars have in store for us. I would expect a healthy dose of the run game coming in here.
Brantford getting the scoring going in the opening drive of the football game. As they're able to march down the field, they had excellent starting position, and they were able to convert 7-0 lead. The Cougars, right before halftime, able to draw close to even. They got the touchdown, but had their extra point blocked, made it 7-6 heading into the break. And now that last touchdown for Brantford, bringing us to where we are now at 14-6, as Dean continues to get looked at the 45-yard line.
He's lying there for a little bit. Looks like he wants to get up, and he's ready to go. And again, another good sign. Looks like he's walking a little bit gingerly on that foot. Maybe he twisted an ankle possibly, but he is walking off the field, and Cougar offense is ready to go.
Now, it's good to see that Dean looks to be relatively okay as he heads off to join his mates along the far side. And we've seen a couple of times Corin Stewart get dinged around a little bit, but he's certainly back seemingly in full force now towards the end of the third quarter.
Yep. Speaking of Corin Stewart, he's back in the backfield for the Cougars to start this drive. Yeah. Twin receiver on the right-hand side, a single receiver out to the left. Play is signaled in, and Stewart faked the handoff, a little quick pass to the, and incomplete again.
Malott Bennett's pass just a little off the mark there. I think Normandin Kerr was the closest receiver, and it just falls to the turf. And 2nd and 10 now for Chatham-Kent.
Yeah, short of that quick swing pass, Malott Bennett hasn't looked real comfortable throwing the ball this afternoon. So the Cougars need to give him a little bit more time possibly, or, you know, find a couple quick routes that are going to work for them.
Yeah, and the 4 or 5 swing passes that we have seen have worked by and large very well for the Cougars, but it's been a lot on the receiver and the yards after the catch. We'll see what other tricks they have in the playbook here offensively. 2nd down and 10, close to midfield.
Drop back, and they are going to run that little quick pass, but they weren't able to get it all the way out to the flats that time, and that's going to bring out 3rd and 10 for the Cougars.
I think maybe Cody Youngblood getting some fingertips on that football as it fell wobbly to the turf, and now 3rd and 10 coming up here. Out in the distance, you've got the junior varsity squads getting ready to get going after this one. Again, it will be a matchup of the Cougars and the Bisons.
Should be a great game for the second half of our doubleheader here with the Cougars and the Bisons again.
Looking forward to that one, too. Rolling out to his right. Pass is complete, but virtually nothing on the pickup as that comes right back to the line of scrimmage. A completed pass along the near side. Sanderson hauls it in, but it will be now 4th and 10 for Chatham-Kent.
Again, it looks like the Cougars are going to bring their punt unit out for a second time here. Didn't have a whole lot of success on that drive. 3 passes and for a gain of about 0.5 yards.
Under 2 to go, minute 50 left in this third quarter. And not surprisingly, the Cougars will leave their unit out there and see what they can do. Oh, no, they're going to go. Pardon me, I misread that formation. They're going to kick it away, but now somebody moved.
Looks like we had maybe an offside on the defense, jumped and maybe caused the procedure on the offense. So hard to say which way this one will go, but they are going to move it up 5 yards for the offside call on the defense.
There you go. So that helps the Cougars just a little bit here. So 4th and 5 will come up now. And does this
change their call at all based on their last offensive series? I think they want to kick this ball away and regroup. The Cougars lining up with an onside man behind the punter.
And it looks like, again, somebody moved early. So
looks like they're pointing at the defense, so it's hard to say.
Wow. So
that could be a first down for the Cougars if that's the case, of offside twice in a row.
Wow. And so you see some frustration on Brantford's side. Notably, number 55, Youngblood is livid as he heads off to the sideline. It's going to be a first down. Oh, my. I don't know the last time I've seen this, where you have a 4th and 10 and back-to-back offsides against the defense making a first down. I cannot recall ever seeing that.
Now, that's a defensive line getting a little bit jumpy at ANC. Tried to read the timing of the play, and it cost them. Now their defense got to go back out on the field.
My, oh, my. The Cougars have to take advantage of a gift like this. Corin Stewart gets the football, and maybe 2 yards, certainly a yard pickup on 1st and 10. And it looks like they gave him 2 yards on that pickup. But when you're presented a gift like this, like the Cougars are offensively, you need to make this an interesting drive.
Absolutely. The Cougars were given a gift horse here, so they need to find a way to make that pay off for them here.
Down by 8, 14-6 Brantford with the lead. Back to pass along the near side. Jump ball, and it's intercepted by the Bisons.
Cougars tried to go deep to Tyler Caniff down the right-hand side, and the ball was just a little underthrown, and the Bison defender was able to wrap that up, and Caniff did tackle him down for no gain on the return once he did intercept. So now the Bisons get the ball back again, and yeah, look, as the clock winds down in the third quarter here, not only is the score against them, but the clock is now becoming an enemy for the Cougars.
Well, when the dust settles, it is maybe like the Cougars did punt it away, and they got the football to the 30-ish yard line.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
Positive to everything.
Yeah, right? Those last few plays and penalties didn't happen. It's a successful punt. And a good job by the Cougar D here, 1st and 10 for Brantford. And nothing doing there. Good job by the front line for Chatham-Kent.
Looking like that was number 11. Joey Doxter came off the right edge and got the sack for the Cougars. I'm not even sure it was supposed to be a pass play. It just looked like a delayed timing running play, and there was nowhere for the quarterback to hand it off to. And great play by Joey Doxter there. So last play of the third quarter here for the Bisons, 2nd and 15.
$14-6 remaining the score here for Brantford. Cougars defense needs to look sharp here and get the football back pretty quickly, down by 8. And they push it back along that far side, and nowhere to go.
That's another great play by Doxter. He came all the way off the right edge, chased that play all the way down the other side for a loss in the backfield. That's a great defensive play by the Cougars. Just great athleticism.
And that will bring an end to the third quarter here, and the Cougars down by 8, 14-6, as they will now change sides of the field once again. And Doxter, he is another young man that is getting stronger as this game goes on, as he's had a pretty quiet, but good, solid game so far.
Well, if they're going to come back, they're going to need Stewart and Dockstetter to step up in the fourth quarter on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball here. Again, only down by one score and a 2-point conversion here. 3rd and long for the Bisons. So one good play by the Cougars here might force the first punt by the Bisons this afternoon.
14-6, the Brantford Bisons in the Bantam division leading the Cougars. We're down to the fourth quarter that will begin here very shortly as the breeze starts to pick up once again. But it's a nice breeze. It's a welcome breeze. It's a nice summer day.
You couldn't ask for a better afternoon for Sunday football in Chatham-Kent.
Wasn't here 7 days ago when the Humidex reading was 3 million.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I know the games had to be delayed by a half-hour start last week because it was so hot. And and I'm sure everybody on the field was happy because of that.
Air is much lighter today.
A difference a week makes.
Absolutely. 28-yard line of the Brantford Bisons. Brantford with the football, 3rd and long. Big play here for both sides of the football. They keep it on the ground, and look at this run. Midfield and more. Down the field along that far sideline, finally wrapped up is the running back, Jared Runge, who again uses his big frame, the 6'1", 190. He was able to shake off about 3 would-be tacklers there.
And you notice who was there to make the tackles? It was Corin Stewart, and Dockster was right there with them. So, Stewart, as small as he is, tackles their biggest player and saves the touchdown. That was a huge play. Great offensive play, but defensively, we're able to prevent the touchdown.
But Runge literally carrying his team on his back there and carrying parts of the Cougars team in his back there too. A huge run.
It looked like the Cougars were going to stop him in the backfield, but then a big game.
First down here for the Brantford Bisons. In pretty good field position now and tripped up but not getting much at all. Number 44, Marco Danino. That time, the Cougar D.
Brought down by number 70, Brennan Dodman there for a great play in the backfield. So Cougars, even though they gave up the big play, they're not quitting here. Their defense has really stepped up this afternoon.
Yeah, still lots of time left here to go in this football game. An 8-point spread. And you don't want to quit at all if you're the Cougar D because you just want to get that football back as quickly as you can. 2 minutes into this fourth frame. Second and 10 here for Brantford.
Cougar defense is jamming that line of scrimmage. Little pitch to the left-hand side, and it's got some room to run over there.
Still on his feet, heading towards the end zone. He'll be ushered out, however, along that far sideline. But it is a first down run for Brantford.
I think that was number 28, Jared Runge, rumbling for about 20 yards. Bringing up another first down for the Bisons, and just that Cougar defense is just standing up, doing everything they can to stop it, but that's going to bring up 1st and goal from the 8-yard line.
That big train, number 28, he is hard to bring down. He is definitely a valuable weapon for the Bisons.
Yeah, when the number 28 train comes in the station, look out.
9:40 to go in quarter 4. On the doorstep to add to their lead is Brantford. First and goal, as they will keep it on the ground once again. And still on his feet, finally brought down. I don't think that was a lot in terms of a gain. Good job by the Cougar D to keep them in check there.
Looked like Bison's mixing up a little bit, bringing in number 39, Josh Lightfoot, try to carry that ball. Picked up a yard or two there, but nowhere to go. The Cougar defense closed that hole pretty quickly.
3 minutes into this fourth quarter. 14-6 Brantford. Ball inside the 10-yard line.
Deep into Cougar territory and knocking on the door once again.
Second and goal.
And looks like we do have a penalty. Play is stopped. Looks like time count procedure.
So that brings the ball back 5 yards.
Time count violation procedure against the Bisons. That's going to back them up a little bit and make them work a little bit harder here if they're going to score. Give the Cougar opportunity a little bit of breath and opportunity here.
Second down goal for the Bisons at the Cougars 12.
Eight and a half to go. 12-yard line is where the ball is.
Second and goal here for the Bisons. They are going to pass on this play, going for a pro pass over the middle. And a wide open number 61.
Touchdown Bisons, making it a 20-6 lead now.
That's number 61, Michael Kenny for the Bisons, bringing in that touchdown pass. And that's a really tough call to go against the Cougars there. And, you know, going down by 2 scores with 8 minutes left in the fourth is a tough call for them. But we'll see what they've got set up here.
Extra point is up, and it's through. 21-6 now your score. It's a 15-point edge for the Brantford Bisons. We're down to 8:20 remaining in the fourth quarter, and the comeback gets even steeper now if you're Chatham-Kent.
Now we're looking at a score and potentially an onside kick for the Cougars to get the ball back. We'll see how much time they take on this drive, but they're going to need to pull some magic out of that hat today if they're going to get the win here. They've played tough, but their offense has just struggled to get the ball into the end zone, and it's cost their defense a little bit.
Cougars will need to strike fairly quickly here. They'll get the football. See what kind of kickoff Brantford has in store here. Cougars ready for anything. And a healthy kick.
Is their deepest kick of the day.
Yeah.
Number 81 back deep for the Cougars to retrieve that. That is Ryan Grelmore.
And Brantford right there to double team the return man. No return for Chatham-Kent, so they are pinning the Cougars back fairly deep in their own territory. And they've got a lot of field to work with here. 8:17 to go in the fourth quarter and down by 15.
15 points is 2 scores and 1 2-point conversion, so it's not out of hand by any means, but the Cougars are going to have to be solid in execution in the next couple of drives if they want to get back to this game.
A handoff to the running back along the near side, and right there waiting is the front line of the Bisons on defense. So
that was number
short gain
40 for the Cougars, Trenton Blackburn, with his first carry of the game, and it's one that I'm sure he would probably like to have back because when he got the ball, there was nowhere to go. He had a group of new friends meet him at the line of scrimmage.
Maybe half a yard pickup on that run. Time ticking down, 7:25 to go in this fourth quarter. Cougars need to strike fairly quickly. And once again, they keep it on the ground. And not a whole lot there for the Cougars. There's Trenton Blackbird with that assignment.
Cougars trying something a little bit different, different running back in here. I don't see Stewart on the field, so either he's injured again or they're just putting some fresh legs out there. But a little bit positive yards there. Got 2 or 3 there. It's going to bring up third and about 7, Mike.
Big play here for Chatham-Kent.
Clock is running at 6:45, and Cougars down by 2 scores and deep in their own end here. Need a couple big plays right about now.
Yeah, see if they go to the air here.
And absolutely they are going to.
Rolling off to his left in pressure and a little.
Dodman with Owen Bennett-Malott with a shovel pass,
Yeah.
but I didn't see a Cougar anywhere near where he was throwing it to. That's going to bring out 4th down, and I believe, at this point in the game, the Cougars almost have to go for it.
Yeah, I don't think that's their number one option here, but with the time being the way it is, I think they just have to hope for the best here. 4th and 7.
They are substituting 3 or 4 players off the field, so It does look like they are lining up to punt the ball. They're bringing their punt unit in. Maybe they're believing that their defense is going to hold strong for them here.
Looking to boot it away here. And the kick is up.
Able to get the kick off.
End over end around the 46-yard line. And a good return here for Brantford, going back the other way along that inside line there. And finally brought down. Fantastic field position here for the Bisons as they look to maybe salt this one away here with under 6 to go.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Cougars, they did get the punt off. It wasn't a great punt, and just a solid return by the Bisons, and they're going to get the ball at the Cougar 20-yard line here, so it's not looking good for the Cougar to come out with a victory at this point in the game, but still some time on the clock.
Cougars in danger of falling to 4-2. And if that happens, that would be the record for Brantford. They would go into a virtual tie as we get closer to playoff time. As they hand off to the running back, able to evade one would-be tackler, but not the second one, as Danino gets brought down.
Braden Scarup read that counter play quickly and stopped it for a minimal gain there, and brings up second and about 7 or 8 for the Bisons. Tick-tock clock is running, and the Bisons look like they're in no hurry to get any plays off here, eating as much clock as they can.
That's the safe thing to do here when you have a 15-point lead and under 5 to go. I think they're quite happy with how things are looking for them. Second down play here for Brantford. Looking to go up the middle, now bouncing out to the near side. Here's Danino, wide open along the near side, going to go into the end zone. It is a touchdown for Brantford. Danino with the major score. And 6 more points now for Brantford. It's 27-6.
Yeah, nice solid off-tackle run by the Bisons there, and the Cougar defense looked like they were in decent position, but their contain on the left side was non-existent, and Bisons were able just to rumble right in for that touchdown, and that might be the one that puts the Cougars away.
Three straight touchdowns for Brantford, and they are able to convert this one as well. 28-6. 21 straight points here for Brantford, and you've only got 4.5 to work with. Looks pretty dire here for the Cougars this afternoon.
You know, it's been a lack of offense for the Cougars that have really hurt them. Their defense has spent a lot of time on the field this afternoon, and they've stopped them more often than they've let them in. But there's only so many times you can ask your defense to stand up on short yardage and bail you out. So again, it's been a lack of offense for the Cougars that have really been the difference in this game. With that, I think you got to give the credit to the Bison defense. They've done a great job of shutting them down.
Absolutely. Bisons have done everything that they've had to do to run their record to 4-2, matching that of the Cougars.
Yeah, they've been rather vanilla this afternoon. Haven't showed a whole lot. Run the ball a little bit more, but they're effectively getting it done and scoring a few touchdowns and forcing the Cougars into situations and downs that they don't like. So.
Line drive kick, and nice line drive grab at the 40-yard line. And look at this return.
Doxeter with some wheels gets a great return for the Cougars.
Finally brought down to the 35. Great job by Doxeter to nab that football with that line drive.
It was a line drive. Looked like a bullet right at him. He just grabbed it and just turned upfield and rumbled for about 30 yards.
So not showing any quit. Number 11 there for the Cougars. Good job by Noxtater, and 4:25 to work with here in this fourth quarter. 28-6 your score, favoring the Brantford Bisons. See what the Cougars can do here, though. Again, short field.
The Cougars are going to need to look to quick score a couple here anyway.
They keep it on the ground. Oh, and a big impact there right up the middle.
It looked like it was Blackbird carrying the ball for about a 6 or 7 yard gain, and got a little bit ahead of steam, got some yards, but ran out of real estate to work with there when he found the Bison defense.
Yeah, big hit right there, big impact, but a very good Blackbird run there. 3 left to pick up here for the first down. 3:45 and counting left in the fourth quarter.
Cougars going to drop back to pass. Malott.
And it's going to be a touchdown for the Cougars. There is your quick score there.
Looks like that's number 82, Ty Oliphant, with the reception. And, Cougars strike quickly here and bring a little bit of life back to the stadium.
Something to cheer for, which hasn't happened in almost a half of football. A major score makes this 28-12 now as Oliphant hauls that in for 6 points. And now do you go for 2 to make it a 14-point deficit if it works out?
At some point they have to go for 2, whether it's on this score or if they score again. But looks like they're going to line up here for the extra point. Nope, that is Malott behind the center. They're going to go for 2 right now. Going to roll out to his right, and he's looking for a receiver. Nowhere to go. He's going to run it himself. No, he is going to throw it. And they did get the conversion for 2.
It's good. There you go. So they get that 2-point convert. 28-14 game now. 3.5 to go. So the door not completely shut on this game just yet.
Well, the nice thing about Canadian football, when you get inside of 3 minutes, the clock stops on every play. So 3 minutes, if you play your cards right and work, is an eternity in a football game. So they do have the time left to work with here. They just have to manage the clock and work quickly.
So now prediction time on this kickoff after the major score. Do they try anything, a little bit of trickery, a little squib kick? Do they try and get this football back immediately? Is this the time to do it?
I don't think it is. I think that they've got to defend, rely on their defense one more time. And then if they can stop them and get the score, then they go for the onside. It's not like they're kicking the ball very deep to begin with, so maybe look to get it over the first line, and they are lining up looking this way, like they are going to go for the onside though.
3.5 to go in the fourth quarter. It's a 14-point game.
And it is the onside kick, and the ball is bouncing, and that is going to be a Cougar football. You called that, Mike Renier.
It worked. Well, I have to have one per game. If it all goes well, I have one correct prediction. And that works swimmingly for the Cougars. They have the football in Bison territory. And now they have a lot more time than they had about 30 seconds ago.
2 seconds off the clock for that play, so the Cougars got some time to work with here. Clock will be running now, and did they go back to the air quickly, or did they hit the ground is the question.
Yeah, that.
Go back to number 82 on the same route they just ran. They are going to pass. They are going to go over the middle here.
Trying to find somebody.
A little shovel pass from Malott. Couldn't find a receiver.
Ball's incomplete, 2nd and 10 here for the Cougars, so off that excitement. Not able to work fairly effectively on 1st and 10, but stops the clock with 3:16 left in this fourth quarter. A 28-14 lead for Brantford.
Well, here we go.
Cougars again want to work fairly swiftly, but they all want to be on the same page here. Clock back running again. And now a fumble off of the snap. Looks like the Cougars still have it. However, they dropped about 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah. Not only do they drop, they forces them to use one of their timeouts here as well. So, loss of about 6 yards, and, it's not where you wanted to use a timeout. They'd rather get some positive yards. A 3-minute warning is issued by the officials. No.
So they were able to successfully get the onside kick. But since then, the two plays that have followed have not gone according to plan here for the Cougars. 3rd and about 14 now. This is a very crucial play offensively for the Cougars. Malott Bennett with the football. Nothing downfield, and he's only able to get about a yard.
It's going to bring out 4th and long, and as they say, he's on the dance floor, but he can't hear the music. He's a long way away from the speakers. So
that is very true.
So what play do the Cougars have here when the game's on the line, Mike? What do you think we're going to expect to see from the Cougars here?
I think my prediction is you pass it along the near side. You try to find somebody fairly deep downfield off to this near side.
Well, we got Caniff lined up on the left, and over on the right-hand side, you got Tyler Oliphant. So you got your two receivers out wide on each side. Looks like the Cougars are just going to go deep to Tyler Caniff down here. Oh, and he doesn't make the reception. Had it in his fingertips, and at the last minute knocked away by the Bisons, and for all intents and purposes, that is the ball game.
Yeah, it's pretty locked in now, although we've seen crazy things happen in the past. But
any given Sunday, as they say.
That was so close to being hauled in by Caniff. But instead, it's turned over to the Bisons on downs, 2:11 to go, and a 14-point lead here for Brantford. But one thing the Cougars were able to do is they were able to keep things interesting until close to the end. And this still is not over.
It's not over by any means. The Cougars are going to have to get a couple quick stops here, and they're likely going to have to use any timeouts they have left on the clock. And it looks like they have one timeout left. So
from the 50-yard line, Bisons go back to work offensively up the middle and working hard to move the ball about 3 yards.
Minimal gain by the Bisons, and Cougars choose not to use a timeout at this point. So clock is going to wind down a little bit here in a second, and it's not going to be the Cougars' friend by any means.
54-yard line. They pitch it to that big running back, number 28, rumbling down the field once again with his big frame. He's been able to get some great runs this afternoon, and another good one there by Jared Runge.
Yeah, 20-yard gain by Runge. Was able to, number one, get the first down. Number two, eat some clock, and he was staying in bounds to prevent that clock from stopping for the Cougars. All those things together spell bad news for the Chatham-Kent Cougar defense.
1:34 remaining in the fourth.
Clock will wind down again. Here we go. Looks like the Bison offense has chosen to take a knee to end this ball game here a couple times, and that'll be it for the Chatham-Kent Cougars this afternoon, Mike. And they did put a valiant effort in and made it a little bit entertaining in the fourth here, but they just ran out of time.
And give the Bisons credit. They played well on both sides of the football. They did what they had to do. They were nursing that slim lead for a long time. 7-0 and 7-6. It was a very close football game for quite some time. And then in the second half, later in the second half, that's when the Bisons have pulled away. They opened up a 27-6 lead. Or sorry, a 28-6 lead.
And that was pretty much the end of it for the Cougars. They did get the touchdown with a 2-point conversion, but a two-score game with 2 minutes left was just too much for the Cougars, and not being able to convert on that fourth down. And here we are with 45 seconds, and the Bisons are going to wind this clock right down, and that'll be the ball game.
So this will put both teams at a record of 4-2. The Bantam Cougars and Bisons of Brantford.
By virtue of the tie, or the win by the Bisons, they're both same records. The Bisons are going to be ahead of them, and looks like the Cougars are going to have to come up with a game plan in a couple weeks. Looks like they're going to be traveling to Brantford to play the Bisons in the first round of the playoffs.
And again, certainly it's going to be you'd figure to be a close game. Certainly not a cakewalk for either team in that scenario. So you never know what will happen after that.
Absolutely. Well, again, Mike Renier, my pleasure being on the microphone with you this afternoon for this entertaining football game between the Bisons and the Cougars.
My pleasure too, Mr. James Clark. Good to work with you again, and we'll be doing it again in a few minutes as the junior varsity squads from both of these cities will do it again. It will be the Cougars and the Brantford Bisons. A healthy contingent from Brantford coming down here to cheer on their team to victory. A 28-14 win for Brantford over the Cougars with the Bantams as we get closer to playoff time, but a big win on the road for Brantford, 28-14, and we will also be back here with junior varsity action coming up. Glad you're with us and glad to bring it to you with Chatham-Kent Cougars football on your TV.